You know, it was not, Hillary just said, Congressman Brian Stott from House Financial Services, good to see you, and Bitcoin Foundation President Brock Pierce. Congressman, the Hillary Vaughn just reported 92% of FTX's donations went to Democrats. Maxine Waters is saying it's 50-50. What do you say to this?
Well, what people are nervous of in Washington, D.C. is that we're going to finally be able to have a government that's accountable. We're actually going to be able to look into this in Washington, D.C. We've had a horrible 2 years of a lack of accountability and oversight in the Financial Services Committee, the committee with oversight over these types of businesses. We got to actually bring people before us. We got to hold people accountable. And in this case, with this company, a lot of people lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there's people that are hurt all across the country.
You know, it's being called, Brock, a Ponzi scheme fraud, like an Enron-style Ponzi scheme fraud in a crypto wrapper. I mean, and then we're seeing, it's high-profile celebrities. We just reported that. But FTX apparently had a revolving door strategy of hiring government workers, including at the CFTC. Is that what you're seeing throughout your industry?
Well, I mean, this is a very unique case and obviously an incredible tragedy. And I think the Enron analogy is appropriate. There was a real underlying business here, and they were playing balance sheet games and tapping into customer funds. And over 1 million people have been impacted by this. Clearly, they were very cozy with government. Sam Bankman-Fried was the second largest donor to the Biden campaign in 2020 and the fifth largest donor in the midterm elections, and basically being the self-anointed individual to try and tell regulators what they should do. So clearly, they had very close relationships with regulators and candidates and elected officials.
You know, and to Brock's point, Congressman, it just shows how swampy and cushy it gets with these big donors. Let's show the viewer who got money from FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. You're going to see the Future Forward PAC. You're going to see Chuck Schumer, the House Majority PAC, DCC, Congressional Campaign Committee for the Democrats, Senatorial Campaign, $27 million to Protect Our Future PAC, millions of dollars to Democrats in at least a dozen states, Congressman. So time and again, I mean, this is a story that's been out there for generations. I mean, you say you want to hold people accountable, but then this blows up.
Well, it's because people haven't been held accountable. We haven't had the proper oversight in the Financial Services Committee that we need. One of the questions we should all have is, why is this company in the Bahamas in the first place and not in the United States? We need to be having the innovation here in the United States and then bring folks before us and actually hold them accountable. Again, the Financial Services Committee found themselves asleep at the wheels. The good news is we're going to have Republicans with gavels on January 3rd, and things are about to change in Washington.
To your point, if they're based in the Bahamas, isn't that against the law to be giving donations out of the Bahamas to politicians in D.C.?
Well, there's a lot of questions going on. One's who's giving the donations, where are they at? But exactly the questions that should be asking is, why are they in the Bahamas in the first place? Why are these companies not in the United States? And how do we get a regulatory framework in the U.S. that is encouraging crypto innovation here in a safe and productive manner rather than the risky behavior it appears this company was involved in?
I mean, Brock, what do you say to what the congressman is saying and all that's going on? I mean, you look at their balance sheet, it's like cobwebs. This could be a $16 billion fraud. The leverage is like 10 to 1. It's not quite as big right now as Enron and Bernie Madoff, but it's like what was, the jiggery pokery that was going on. I covered corporate accounting scandals for the Wall Street Journal. The front edge of WorldCom. I had a piece of Enron. When I'm looking at their balance sheet, Brock, it's really shady stuff.
Well, I couldn't agree more with what the congressman said. This is an opportunity if we get the right regulation, if we get the right policy. It all comes down to that. And if done correctly, a lot of people are questioning these exchanges that are based offshore. And if America gets this right, we could bring a lot of that innovation back home. These exchanges were meant to be places where you exchange, and people got lazy and were using them like banks, and they were not regulated in that way. We need to see these balance sheets. We have to know they're not tapping into customer funds. And if legislators get this right, it could be a very good thing.
It's really disturbing. This is caveat emptor for the investors out there. Watch out for this stuff. Congressman Styles, Brock Pierce, thank you so much for joining us.